I can hear it now. Band take the field, and out of that eastern tunnel pour 215 well-drilled, well-disciplined Michigan bandsmen. They pour over the eastern sideline, they pour in the big block in, and they play the greatest college fight song ever written.
Hey, Seth, it's been a while. How you doing, man?
I know, we're back. We're doing this again, finally.
Finally. And just for everybody that's watching, welcome to the Matt and Seth show. I think Seth tries to call it the Seth and Matt show, but he doesn't own the domain name, so he doesn't really get a say.
Right.
Plus, I'm the pretty face. No offense, Seth.
Since when did the sponsor get their way on MGO Blog, huh?
I don't know. But the good news is we have a format this time. We're not just winging it. So, Seth, why don't you tell people how we're going to start each episode, and then I'll tell them what we're going to do after that.
We talked about ways that we can make this valuable to people, and I thought we thought that we could start with just something that people can not something super difficult or super technical. We don't want to throw a bunch of words at people or whatnot, but just something that we see on film that people can see when they're on, when you're there on Saturday. You can be oh, okay, I'm looking for that now, and it's something that you, as a fan, just sitting in the stands or watching on TV, will be able to pick up on and start hollering about. Unfortunately, I chose one that's just going to make everyone hangry, but.
Hey, man, and you're just you're talking to a big dumb former lineman who doesn't read books real good. So I think aim me as your target audience, and I think we'll be all right. And then after that, we're gonna kind of do a little more fan talk. We're gonna pick something, and we're gonna have something we're really excited about. Something I'm really looking forward to for the week, or some projection that I have that's maybe overly positive, and you might talk me down a little bit on, and then maybe something I'm a little negative on that I need a little pep talk on, and so you can be my coach for a few minutes.
Right. We're going to call it Talk Me Up, Talk Me Down, which is just, two dudes' version of what my kindergarten does with good and welfare at the end of the day, right?
All right. I love it. So let's get started with the first part for the nerdy section of the show here. Seth, why don't you take it away?
This was one of the things that was bothering me about this game, early on at least, was the linebackers are just kind of not shooting their gaps. And, I'm sure you've heard people talk like that before. Okay, linebacker's not shooting his gap. What the heck does that mean? Here's an example. Beautiful example. You got Mason Graham right over here, the second guy down. I don't know if you can't see my cursor there. But if you're looking at the defensive line, the second guy down, that's Mason Graham. He's going to take on a double. That should clear the linebacker, Junior Colson, behind him to be free. So let's watch this play real quick.
1st and 10 at the 41. Tungavailoa out of the gun again.
All right, so look right here. You have these two guys over here, these two guys double blocking Mason Graham, and that's fine. He's given up a yard. That's cool because it gives this perfect lane right in here to shoot for Junior Colson. It's just he doesn't take it. So let's just watch this play again. I want you to watch Junior Colson.
1st and 10 at the 41.
And decide when to shoot that gap.
Out of the gun again, hands it off.
Yeah, he's got to fly downhill there. He's got a clear lane. It opens up for him to get right to the running back, and he just hesitates. He kind of stands there with his lunch money in his hand.
Exactly. Yeah, and then, the very next play, we saw the same thing. So this time we're going to watch Michael Barrett. He's the lower linebacker. The same exact thing happens.
Mike McDonald ran a year ago.
Okay? He's got a lane right here, right? See how his defensive lineman's taking out the guy. Now, Michigan actually got two extra attackers on this because of the play call. So, we call that rock, paper, scissors. They won the rock, paper, scissors. Michael Barrett's just sitting there.
Hand off over the right side. Hemby.
Well, Seth, what's your thought on it? Is it a lack of trust between the line and the linebackers? Is it trying to not give up a home run and just trying to give them a single or a double? What's your thought?
So my explanation, I don't really know. So this is where the limitations of what I can do watching the tape is I don't know what the play call is. I don't know what they've been teaching the linebackers, that kind of thing. There was another situation on a touchdown where Colson kind of sat back, and I'm my first instinct is to get angry about it, but then I'm trying to figure out how is this supposed to work, and it started cleaning up, especially for Colson. Kalel Mullings didn't really fix it later on, but Colson started getting a lot more aggressive, and what happened, what I thought, was Michigan was bringing down one of their safeties, and for whatever reason, when there was another safety in the box, or if there was another safety outside of him, Colson felt a lot more aggressive. In fact, there was one play he made where he takes a risk. It's one of those plays where, like, you get a negative if you don't make the play. He didn't make the play, so he does get graded negatively on that. But it was the kind of risk that you want him to take. He saw a lane. He went for it. He tried to get a TFL. He missed the tackle because the running backs were actually pretty good, and the guy got a pretty decent gain out of it. But that's the kind of risk you want him to take. When his safeties are around, he'll take those risks. And when they're both too deep, and I think that's what this game was, that Michigan was kind of starting their safeties back all game, worried about the cornerbacks, like leaving those guys, or worried about their receivers, really, right? Maryland has great receivers, but Michigan's cornerbacks are doing fine against them. Turner was knocking them down. The only pass they got against Samerstill was like a perfect throw and perfect catch. And Jamon Green was just a monster in this game. He's grading out really high. I'm only halfway through the grading right now, but he's grading out super high. So Michigan was just like, hey, I guess we can trust our cornerbacks and Don Brown this. They brought another guy down the box. And then, when you got Moten or Moore, one of those guys hanging around, I feel like the linebackers can play a little bit more aggressively. At least Colson seems to. Barrett.
Colson seemed to have a chance for a TFL right there. It seems like it feels like he played it more like a safety where he's sitting in a zone, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. And we had a chance for a TFL, I think, at least on that first play.
Right. And that's the thing. You're not looking for these guys. I'm not like, these are not huge negative grades, right? These are not like big, oh my God, you can't play linebacker kind of things. This was a opportunity missed. And if there's two different ways that you can play those defensive linemen, and Michigan's kind of, the offense really gets to choose more than the defense. But you can single block them and release that offensive lineman immediately. And then the linebacker is dealing with a lineman, and then you're really just kind of grading whether the defensive lineman can win that battle. Michigan's defensive linemen have been winning those battles. Jenkins has been awesome this year. Mozzie Smith is a monster. And Mason Graham is instant Ryan Glasgow. He's awesome.
Yeah.
So Michigan, most of their defensive tackles are pretty much holding up. Even Rayshawn Benny makes plays. So their defensive tackles have been holding up, and you kind of have to double them, which means the linebackers are going to get these opportunities. Now the linebackers can sit back and not take the opportunities, and you end up with like a 3 or 5 yard play, or they can actually shoot those gaps and pay it off. And really, like, the defense has an option to try to soak up doubles if they can, but really it's more on the offense's choice. And the question is, can you make the offense play to your advantage? If they have to release guys right away because your linebackers are going to shoot in the gaps, then they're going to get stuck losing to the defensive linemen. If they feel like they can double Mozzie Smith and double Chris Jenkins, and you're not going to lose anything because the linebackers aren't going to attack, that's what they're going to do all game. So
that worries me. That worries me going into a game where Iowa's happy with 3.6 yards per play, 3.7 yards per play, I should say, 3.66 rounded up. So I'm a little worried about that. I think that we have the athleticism advantage from our linebacker to their running backs, their fullbacks, especially their quarterback. But if we're going to be passive, I could see us giving up a lot of 8-minute drives that eat the clock up, and we've seen that at Kinnick before. So I'm a little nervous. So that was an awesome explanation, Seth. Thanks for doing that. I do have to ask, when can we get you a pair of the Cartier buffs that they were wearing on the sidelines after big plays? I don't know if you saw that or you're even a familiar enough of a hip-hop head to know. Probably not, but those buffs right there, those are nice. It's about an $8,000 pair of sunglasses.
Pretty sweet. Also, I noticed that DJ Turner was wearing, I was told it's not a Dickie because it's got a hood on it, but it was like a hoodie Dickie. So it wasn't like a real hood, but it was like a hood like around his neck. And
I love it. It's like I like the picture with a tuxedo T-shirt on. That line from Step Brothers. Yeah, that's great.
But I mean, I guess they're trying to dress ridiculous because they also noticed the cornerbacks have been wearing pacifiers in their mouth. You notice that too? Like they got. So I mean, they're trying to look ridiculous, and maybe it's messing with the opponent's head or something. But I think if they want to keep going with this, then Dickies is the way to go. Right?
I love it, man. All right, so talk me up first. I didn't think I'd be saying this at this point of the season, but I was really disappointed. There's especially a third down, I think, in the third quarter where JJ took forever and just took a big hit from the backside where it was a 6-yard run. He would have been able to jog for a first down. Feels like he's hesitant, and I don't know. Talk me up a little bit, because it just didn't seem like he was as confident as he needs to be, especially going on a tough road trip.
I mean, J.J. McCarthy this is the first time he's really faced a defense that was going to drop 8, and he was trying not to take hits in this game, I thought, maybe because McNamara's hurt and he doesn't want to. They're a little nervous with him. But it's hard to simulate that. It's hard to I'm sure in practice you can drop 8 guys, but you don't run those coverages, and it's 8 guys there. You don't know exactly what's going to happen because you don't know which defensive lineman's going to break down or whatever. He just wasn't really comfortable with it. And I think that it's not something Iowa's going to do very much of. They're pretty much a rush 4 cover 2. And I think practice more on cover 2 with him anyway. So it was like, okay, do something with the ball. He missed a couple reads there, but they're tougher reads, and that kind of happens to a lot of quarterbacks. So I don't have a great answer because we don't have a whole lot of information on McCarthy, but, I mean, you've seen him hit his downfield shots. So if they're going to do that and he's hitting his downfield shots, then it doesn't matter, right? Because someone's still going to be
I'm not sure I feel better, so talk me down on this one. What if we see 175 yards and 3 touchdowns out of Blake Corum? Are we booking a trip to New York in December for that little trophy presentation they do every year?
I mean, we're loving Blake Corum. I think Pro Football Focus is loving Blake Corum. I think he was their best running back in the country last year. And, I mean, if Blake Corum wins the Heisman, that means that the rest of the offense and all those receivers and J.J. McCarthy were taking a back seat to the Blake Corum show. Now, if that's happening because, McCarthy's hit him on wheel routes and stuff like that, cool. But I don't think that people look at Michigan and say Blake Corum is carrying them, even when he is. This game, he carried them, right? But that's one game so far. They didn't really need him to win those other games, and we'll see what happens in things coming up. But I have a feeling he's going to be the first thing they take away now. So we'll see what happens when Corum is the thing that they're focusing on, and it opens up things for other guys. But to win even Kenneth Walker didn't win the Heisman last year, and he was Michigan State's entire offense. When you win it as a running back, you have to have a winning team that you're carrying, and we kind of don't want that. We want the rest of the offense to be operating at full strength, right? We don't want this just to be Blake Corum having to bail us out and win by 7 against Maryland.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm also the guy that bought he16man.com when Denard was out there running wild. So, all right.
Speaking of Corum, your video just cut out here, and I'm getting a picture of Corum instead of you right now. And same still.
Nice. All right, man. What do you got for me?
All right, I got for you. I'm sorry your video's not on. If you can, but actually, it actually works really well because there's Samer still, and you need to talk me down from this. Mike Samer still is
leave us on. Actually, just start over. Just leave us on, and I'll just lay photos over the top. Because that'll be easier.
We're on. I didn't change anything.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, cool. All right, Seth. So your turn. What do you got?
All right, yeah.
Am I going to talk you up first or down?
No, I want you to talk me down first because we got picture of Samer still on here anyway, and I think he's Dax Hill 2.0. I mean, that was a great game.
Yeah, it's incredible. I can't talk you down on
that. No, you're supposed to be like, no, dude. He's
right. So I don't think I'm worried about him physically holding up for an entire season because he's such a fast twitch guy. So my nervousness is not his athleticism or his ability to make plays because, man, that guy flies to the football. But when a guy flies to the football like that all season long, I just get nervous about it continuing. So I don't, there's not any wood nearby that I can knock on. I'm here in the alley outside of my coffee roasting company in Ferndale. So I'll find some wood to knock on. So if he stays healthy, I don't think there's a reason that he's not all Big Ten this year, the way he's playing so far. And I'm excited, man.
All right. Talk me up here. I still cannot pronounce his name. I'm going to try one last time this week, and that's going to be it. Talia Tagovailoa. Did I get anything close?
I think you're okay. Talia Tagovailoa. I'm not going to try either, man. I haven't had lunch yet.
Talia Tagovailoa. I just have, for some reason, there's a block in my head about pronouncing this
Tagovailoa.
guy's name. Yeah, Talia Tagovailoa. Tonga Vailoa.
Tonga Vailoa.
It was his brother that messed me up because I started saying it wrong then. Anyway, I call him Tata in my head. He had a lot of time in the pocket where he was very clean, and some of that was play action, whatnot. But is our pass rush doomed, and is that going to doom the defense? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling.
I think if we start running more stunts, I mean, you saw Mike Morris make a great play when he who shall not be named, when Tata broke out to the far side. He had the sideline, and Morris at 300-ish pounds, 6'5", chased him down from behind. I think we need to start running more stunts up front, but I do think the linebackers need to be more aggressive. I don't see the Don Brown style throwing people at the quarterback the way that we have in the past few years. Even last year, it felt like we mixed things up more, and I think that's a scheme thing. So I wouldn't be nervous yet if we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. Now, and part of that is you don't want to send two guys past that guy and have him beat you for a 40-yard run. So we'll see when we get into real traditional Big Ten quarterback play with guys that run as well as you and I, what happens.
I'd
like
Spencer Petras.
I'd like to see I'd like to see how John Navarre does against our defensive line and our linebackers. So
all right. So how many sacks are we getting against
week.
Iowa to make me feel comfortable?
4.5.
All right.
I think that's where I'd set the line. Speaking of lines, we're going to take a break right here. Cooper is going to do a couple picks for us each week. He's got 5 games. Every week he's going to do a pick against the spread on. So those of you who listen to the podcast, you've heard Cooper and Colby say go blue for years. So Coop, take it away. And Cooper does not bet real money. Just want you to know that. He just has a spreadsheet, and he's got points, and maybe he gets extra cookies or something. So Coop, what do you got?
All right, hey, Coop, I'm here with you to do your weekly picks. Each week, we're going to pick the Michigan State, Ohio State game. Now, Cooper, you're not old enough to bet. Betting is bad. Gambling's bad, but picking games is fun, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, and you're pretty darn good at it. So here we go. We're going to kick it off. Kentucky plus 6.5 and Mississippi. Who you got?
I got Kentucky because I think they're underrated.
All right, Kentucky, so you're going big blue. Second game, NC State. Oh, that was who we got, the NC State-Clemson game. Who we got that one?
Clemson to cover the 6.5.
All right, so you got Clemson in that one. All right, what about Michigan State? Is Tuck going to come home crying?
Yes.
All right, what's the spread in that one? You remember?
7.5.
7.5. All right, let's go Turtles. Let's go Maryland. Ohio State and Rutgers. That's a big line. 40.5 points. You think the stinky Buckeyes are going to be able to do that?
No.
No? Why?
I think that Rutgers is a good team, and I don't think they'll lose by 40 points.
All right.
Because I think they'll score some late.
Okay. And the last game, the most important one, we're heading into Kinnick, driving past the Field of Dreams. Most people will be going this weekend. Hopefully they stop there. We're not making this trip, but we make trips every year. Who you got in this one to Kinnick?
I got Michigan by more than 10.5.
What do you got score-wise?
42-3, just like the Big Ten championship.
Oh, I love it. A little callback, 42-3. Hey, Coop, I'm just checking. What's the Michigan-Ohio State score right now?
It just went final. It's 42-27.
Wait, it's final?
Yeah.
It went final?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got your picks in. Who's going to be the best player this week? Who are you looking for to shine this week in Kinnick?
Mike Morris. No, not the lawyer. The defensive end for Michigan.
All right, man.
He's going to get like 5 sacks.
5 sacks for Mike Morris. All right, Coop, thanks for your picks. Hopefully you'll do good. Gambling is bad. Picking games is fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Love you.
All right, awesome. Hey, Cooper, I hope you're wrong and Ohio State gets their butts kicked this weekend. But Seth, this has been awesome. It's really good to be back. What do you think this weekend? What's your score?
Oh man, I'm thinking that like it's pretty much the same two teams that saw each other last year, minus a few guys, but 42-27.
42-27. I don't think they're going to score more than 17
No.
points.
I actually have to change that. 4.2 to 2.7.
4.2 to 2.7. That sounds like some Big Ten football. Welcome to Kinnick. I'm going to go 22 to 15. I think there's going to be some weird plays in there. I'm picking a weird score. I think next week, whoever is
why
closer.
are we pretending Iowa's going to score in this game? They're not going to. Iowa's not going to score in this game unless it's a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, and I'm nervous about that. We've had good puck luck so far. We jumped on fumbles, but we have been a little insecure with the ball. So we'll see what happens. But one thing I know for sure is this has been fun, and I look forward to it next week.
Yep, go blue.
Brought to you by Homeshire Lending.
I can hear it now. Fans take the field, and out of that eastern tunnel pour 215 well-drilled, well-disciplined Michigan bandsmen. They pour over the eastern sideline. They pour in the big line.